So Marvel Studios is reportedly considering keeping Robert Downey Jr. on as Doctor Doom even after Avengers Secret Wars, after the MCU resets. Now, this could be good or bad news depending on how you feel about Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doctor Doom in general. If you were happy he returned, then this is probably good news to you, but if you weren't, then you probably don't like this. If he stays Doctor Doom after Secret Wars, go ahead and let me know how you would feel about that in the comments. But regardless of how you feel, there is a way story-wise to make this happen and to make it make sense. And if Marvel Studios is going to tackle the relationship between Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom and this specific Fantastic Four that we have in the MCU right now, the way that I think they're going to, then I would say Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom almost has to be the Doctor Doom post Secret Wars. Because if he's not, then the story of Doctor Doom, specifically how he relates to the Fantastic Four, is going to get pretty complicated, and they're probably not going to be able to do a lot of Doom Fantastic Four stories that come from the comics in the MCU. Now, this report is coming from the insider Daniel RPK, who states that Marvel Studios is reportedly, right now, discussing the idea of Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom even after Avengers Secret Wars. Now, I've already seen a lot of comments online about this, and a lot of people are stating, well, this reveals that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom probably isn't going to die in Avengers Secret Wars. But as we have seen many times in the MCU already, a villain doesn't have to die to be defeated. And if it is Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom who is going to be the main Doom moving forward in the MCU post Secret Wars, then he is going to have to survive Avengers Secret Wars. And here's the thing, if he dies in Avengers Secret Wars, then sure, they could get a new actor to play an entirely different Doctor Doom post Avengers Secret Wars once the MCU has been reset. However, the Fantastic Four First Steps has given us some hints that this Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr.'s, probably knows Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards and the rest of the Fantastic Four. And that is something that you're not going to want to reset. So how will Doctor Doom transfer over to the new MCU once he's defeated in Avengers Secret Wars? Well, there are actually several ways that they can do this. Most of us assume that at the end of Avengers Doomsday, the multiverse is going to be destroyed, and that in Secret Wars, we will get Battleworld, the only world left after the multiverse gets completely destroyed, a world that consists of a bunch of different universes combined. We then assume at the end of Avengers Secret Wars, if the Avengers do indeed win, they'll restore at least one universe or the entire multiverse, most likely via Franklin Richards. And if you've seen the Fantastic Four First Steps, then you know that Franklin does indeed seem to have pretty much the same power that he does in the comics. At least that's what they're leading us to believe with what Galactus said. No spoilers for the Fantastic Four in this video, but basically if you've seen it, you know. And if you haven't, just know he's incredibly powerful, and in the comics, he is actually the one who does indeed restore the multiverse, along with his father and the Future Foundation. And here's the thing, we already know that this Fantastic Four team that we're getting in the Fantastic Four First Steps, they're gonna survive the reset. They are our Fantastic Four, especially if you consider how successful the movie has been on its opening weekend. Not just box office wise, but also ratings wise. They're here to stay, and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has already confirmed that the MCU will indeed reset after Secret Wars, but he also did confirm that there are characters who are gonna make it through. They'll cross over into the new universe. We're gonna get completely new characters like the X-Men, and he even did say eventually they're gonna recast Iron Man and Captain America and others. But some characters will go through, and the Fantastic Four are going to be some of those characters. And now it sounds like Doom might be as well, and if you're going to connect this Doctor Doom, Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, to this Reed Richards, then he almost needs to survive. That would actually give us the best story moving forward with Doctor Doom and his relationship with the Fantastic Four. Because let's face it, if you go into a new universe now, you can't have a Reed Richards with Pedro Pascal's Reed who is in college, which means you can't have him be roommates with Victor Von Doom in college. But if that already happened in the 828 universe and both parties, Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four, cross over to the new MCU that has been reset, then you still can explore that story with the two of them being roommates in college in the new MCU. Yes, it'll have to be flashbacks and such, but you can still have that connection there. And I actually do think there's another really great reason to keep Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom around in the new MCU. We'll break that down, but first, I want to tell you about Factor Form because after swearing I wouldn't take any green supplements again because they tasted so bad, I found Factor Form and I actually really love the taste, which I was super happy about because I do like the idea of a green product. And now I found one where the taste is amazing. So here we are now with a green supplement from Factor Form that actually tastes good. Most of you know I love Factor meals, and now Factor Form has changed the game, creating a green supplement to go hand in hand with your meals, giving you 100% of your daily nutrients. Here's why this is a game changer. Factor Form supplements have been developed by Factor dietitians using culinary principles to make healthy foods taste delicious. With a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste, Factor Form is actually enjoyable to drink. Mix a single serve pack in water and you're good to go. I personally love it because it doesn't taste like someone threw a bunch of greens from outside into a blender with some water like some other companies out there, but it actually tastes good and it gives me all the nutrients I need. Makes me feel like I have more energy and gives me sharper focus. That's huge. So start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/cosmic to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/cosmic for 40% off plus free shipping. So again, keeping the relationship between Dr. Doom and Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four is pretty crucial to who Dr. Doom is, especially when you get into the Fantastic Four having their second child, Valeria Richards, who Dr. Doom actually saves along with Sue and names. He's literally the one who names her Valeria. Besides keeping that whole backstory, which I really think they have to keep, keeping Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom after Secret Wars sets him up to be a huge character like Loki. One of the best things about Marvel Comics and about what they did with Loki's story in the MCU is that he's not just a one and done villain. Villains don't have to die to be defeated. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's really cool when they don't die and then they come back to seek revenge, or they hold grudges for very long periods of time and consistently try to defeat a certain superhero group, like Doom with the Fantastic Four, and the Avengers and the X-Men in general. And something that would be insanely cool for the new reset MCU to do is to consistently have the presence of Dr. Doom lurking over them. Yes, we're going to have new villains. We've heard rumors that Annihilus is going to be a pretty big villain in the new MCU in Phase 7, 8, or 9. Mephisto has now been officially set up to be a big villain in the MCU, and they're going to bring in others for the X-Men, like Mr. Sinister and Bolivar Trask, and ultimately Magneto. So we're going to have other villains, but having Doom's presence linger over everybody who made it through the reset of the MCU, staying in the back of their heads knowing that he could come back at any time, that will add a lot of tension. And this way you could have Dr. Doom come back in random projects, not just as a villain, but sometimes as an ally, because Dr. Doom isn't necessarily always bad. And if you think about it, if we're going to get a story for Dr. Doom in the MCU that's kind of similar to his story in the comics and the Time Runs Out story event that led right up to Secret Wars, then Doom will legitimately try to save the multiverse. It's only at the end where he realizes that he can't save it is when he kind of decides on going with Plan B, which is to take out the Beyonders, take their powers, and save one thing. Now, ultimately, he chooses himself to be a god and rule over that world, but he legitimately was trying to save the multiverse before that. So if Dr. Doom is somewhat like that in the MCU, then perhaps the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the X-Men, anybody who might remember him from the old universe might not think that he is completely evil, just that he thought he was going to save the multiverse and then he thought he was doing what was best for everyone. So perhaps he won't come off entirely evil, especially if he knew Reed Richards and Sue Storm and was a part of that World Council in the 828 universe. Perhaps there will be some people vouching for him that he's not all bad. He just went about trying to save the multiverse the wrong way. We'll have to wait and see on that, but you could also see how Marvel Studios and Robert Downey Jr. would both think it would be a really good idea for him to stick around post Secret Wars. Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid a ton of money to come back and play Doctor Doom. We've heard he's getting at least 100 million, with some reports stating he could be getting 200 million to come back. He's going to want to keep getting those massive paychecks, I'm sure, and Marvel knows that he could certainly carry a franchise as Doctor Doom. He already did it as Iron Man, so why not have him do it again as the villain? That's pretty appealing to both parties, Marvel and RDJ. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. Do you think Marvel Studios should keep Robert Downey Jr. on as Doctor Doom post Avengers Secret Wars? Or do you think they should get a new Doctor Doom? Let us know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news, rumors, or leaks. You can catch us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.